Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Anupama Bharadwaj, business head at Green Honchos. We're an e-commerce enabler working with India's leading D2C fashion and lifestyle brands, enabling digital growth via integrated tech, marketing, and commerce-driven strategies. Today's discussion is especially timely. It's Infinite Identities, AI-powered personalization in a fragmented world. Let's just take a reality check. AI is not a buzzword. It's here to stay. It's now mainstream, right? Generative AI is clearly helping businesses make better decisions. Even we've seen a 30 to 40% erosion of traffic, even in information marketplaces like Google, HubSpot, because users are clearly making a sharper decision. There's better quality of output and decision making through that. At Green Honchos, we did see this shift a couple of months ago, and last few months we spent in building an AI framework for e-retail brands for growth and scale, which has about 5 pillars or 5 key tenets. I'll just move back. Across merchandise, customer experience and technology, content creation, marketing, and analytics, right? So that brings us to this session, this panel discussion, where we've brought together digital and commerce leaders from iconic and progressive brands just to help us decode how personalization at scale is really working today, how AI and martech are helping unify the shopper journey, right? Let's start with you, Indresh. We had a couple of minutes before the panel. So let's start with you. From a tech leadership lens, how do you approach integration across siloed systems, legacy ERP, CRMs, offline and retail data to enable personalization?
Yeah, so specifically in our case, we run 10 plus brands from Charles & Keith to Aldo to Victoria's Secrets, Bath and Body Works. And what happens is the same customer, represents the family, but goes across all these brands shopping for the family, right? And hence it is difficult to track the final individual who is buying our product. For example, a household, the gentleman may buy a shoe from Aldo. On his same card, his wife is buying from Victoria's Secrets and from Bath and Body Works, right? So like if you look at pure data from who shopped, we get a wrong persona created because we are looking at a guy, buying from Charles & Keith a women's shoe, and the same guy is buying something like a lingerie wear from Victoria's Secrets. That is where the difficulty starts. Finding the last person who actually is the consumer is the most difficult part in our journey when it comes to trying to understand the data and fitting an algorithm around it. Yeah.
Thank you. Anisa, you come from a legacy brand, Regal Shoes, right? You have this unique challenge and opportunity to be able to convert the loyalty from the offline customer journey in your stores. How do you do that?
So, all right, so let me tell you what it is I want from personalization, right? So, as she said, we're a legacy brand, and we have been around for 70 years now. We just celebrated 70 years. And for a vast majority of those years, the customer has basically been this person who's crossed my threshold, walked onto my store floor, and before I even smile and say, hello, welcome to Regal, I have downloaded all this information about this person, right? How she likes to dress, what time she goes shopping. If it's the middle of a weekday, she's probably dropped her kid off to school and is running errands. If it's a weekend, she might have a job during the week. How she likes to dress. Does she like to check prices, right? All of this information, and then every conversation with this person becomes personalized. When we did a digital transformation a few years ago, I have to say I was flummoxed because I had no idea who my customer was, right? We were selling shoes, But the problem was there was no loyalty, there was no relationship, there was no customer. This wasn't my customer, they were just customers. So I'm really excited that this opportunity to use AI, and we've been experimenting with different things. So we're trying to integrate our loyalty programs from offline to online. What we're trying to do is we're trying to use AI in connecting with the customer, analyzing their experiences. But as Indresh said, there are a lot of challenges. We don't want to be reaching out to some guy whose card was used with all kinds of women's sandals because his wife or daughter or mother has used his card, right? So it's exciting, but it's challenging, and we're excited that you guys are also working on it. We work with Green Honcho, so it's really helpful to us also to have a tech partner who cares about this as well.
Perfect. Thank you, Anisa. Praveen, Arvind has a vast portfolio of brands across price points and audiences. How do you sort of segment audiences effectively without complicating the tech stack or the communication?
So essentially for us, each brand is almost an independent business in many ways, right? So we create those silos from a customer engagement perspective, and also from the way access to data is provided to different brands. I mean, they get access only to their own respective customer data and not others, unless there is a clear decision between, let's say, the brand heads to share data and cross-sell. However, the tech platform is common, so we have a common CDP, common data platform, common marketing stack, and so on, which ensures that we are not creating silos data. So it's all in one place, and obviously optimized because capabilities, common capabilities available for each and every brand to leverage, whether it's a very large brand like a Pantaloons or a small brand which is just launching like a Tasva. So that's our model, where our tech stack is common, but it is created in a manner where there is a role-based access control by a brand, and the choice of having common programs, common marketing is left to the brands to decide based on how they want to, how do they see their customers engaging.
Are you also able to create personalized campaigns, not just with, with messaging, with communication, looking at data across different brands as patterns and trends, like a shopper across brands?
Yeah,
are you
so
able to?
technically yes. I mean, we can, as I said, because the platform is common. Not that because our brands operate in different target segments, that's not always a necessary use case, but wherever it makes sense, brands, we enable that for brands. So,
got it. Thank you. Indresh, we're having some insightful conversation regarding subcategory level, SKU level analytics, and how you see different patterns across India, geography-wise, the buying pattern or the shopping pattern in North India versus South India. Can you shed some light about that?
Yeah, so as I said, we are in a unique position where we run 10 plus brands across the length and breadth of India. And Anu was talking about, do you do SKU level analysis? Do you use algorithms to understand what SKU sells? We have realized when we build algorithms is SKU doesn't work in our case, because we are a fashion driven brand. Every season is a different product, right? We hardly have core. So our allocation and replenishment is a very short cycle. Yeah. So we step back a bit and we look at, besides the SKU, we look at the other variables like color or design or pattern. Based on other variables that the SKU has, we decide what will sell the next season. Yeah, I was telling Anu that India behaves very differently. I mean, at a very broad level, I can break India into three parts when it comes to women shopping for their shoes, right? North India is heels, little flashy, boots during winters, shiny stuff during wedding season. Okay, the other extreme, if you go down, Bangalore, Chennai, Kochi, it's a very conservative female who is shopping for literally flats. Okay, and when you come to Mumbai, Pune, you see a very practical woman who who has a car but is ready to jump in a rickshaw, right? So she is hesitant to buy high heels. Bombay hates boots. It is not designed for Bombay, right? So you cannot have a AI model that pans across the country and works perfectly. You have to look at each region, as a different behavior pattern. I mean, we are a country, but we behave like EU, right? We have different languages, different lifestyles. Every 100, 200 kilometers, people buy differently, right? So one AI or one algorithm doesn't work across India. It has to be further broken down by regions, further broken down by what part of the country and what season in that part of the country is happening at what point of time, right? Kolkata behaves completely different during the Durga festival compared to the rest of the country. Yeah, Delhi behaves completely different during the wedding season. Yeah, they probably spend the most during the wedding season. Hence, it is fun, but it is difficult to build a common AI algorithm for the entire country.
At the end of the day, the customer is also truly connected, right? Like they're experiencing a brand through various formats, various screens, and in a truly fragmented sort of thing. So, Praveen, are there any specific martech tools or automation tools that you have that has helped you bridge the gap between digital behavior and offline or in-store behavior?
Yeah, so I think that's always a tricky problem. The thing is, when online you get all kinds of signals about the customer journey, right? So you have tools which will track the whole customer journey end to end, personalized based on how the his customer interacting with which products they're looking at and so on. And that's a completely real-time algorithm which is doing the personalization on your app or website. So wherever you have an identified customer, you can capture those signals and record it in your CDP. You can also obviously their purchase history you have, their let's say feedbacks and so on you have. Those are available. So depending on what all you store, you can leverage that for personalization, whether it's for campaigns or for customer engagement, in store as well. The in store, the big challenge is identifying the customer, because in most cases the customer's shopping journey doesn't start with identifying the customer, unlike online where you know that. Here you often the customer is browsing and only at checkout is when you really come to identify the customer, when they share their mobile number or loyalty card number or whatever. So that's a challenge. So in some of our brands where there is a far more personalized engagement, let's say the luxury brands, they have a model where they what we call clienteling, where they can engage with the customer as they walk in, get their credential, get their phone number, and then be able to, based on that, be able to actually make personalized recommendations from the merchandise available based on whatever they would have bought in the past from online or offline, or or feedback, or so whatever signals that you have in your database, you can leverage that and make personalized recommendations, but only because you are able to identify the customer first. But in some formats where it's a walk-in browse format and you're only later on coming to know, but it's usually post, let's say, billing at checkout, you can send out a personalized promo and things like that, but it becomes a bit more difficult when it's offline. So.
How are you also leveraging offline to online, right? You've got a large presence offline. There are lots of formats, lots of customers who are coming and experiencing shopping offline. But do you also see that loyalty turn online, where the next purchase is, they're buying through marketplaces or buying through the brand websites or anything? Do you see an omni-channel loyalty program sort of?
So all our loyalty programs are omnichannel for each and every brand. And I mean, they're not just omnichannel, they are on a common platform. They can also be multi-brand loyalty programs. So we are still looking at how do we roll that out as a business. But it's completely omnichannel for each brand. So whether you shop an Alan Solly online or offline, once your identity is linked to a phone number, it's seamless. Including your earn, burn points, online, offline, that's entirely seamless.
Got it, thank you. Anisa, Regal has an extremely strong brand recall, right? Do you use data, or how do you use data to be able to deliver, or an AI to be able to deliver a better storytelling, getting the legacy online? Do you use AI with storytelling as well?
So our attempt is to make sure that when a customer is on the website, he sort of gets the same feeling he does when he walks into a store, right? And we've got stores across the country, and we have a much larger offline customer base than we do online. When we first started, it was surprising to me that a customer didn't just come onto the website and automatically feel like he was at Regal shoes, right? Because we got questions like, is this authentic Regal? Yes, it's authentic Regal. What is inauthentic Regal? But then I realized that, there's a lot of work that goes into presenting that brand online as it is offline. And so we do use a lot of AI for content creation as well and for storytelling. But I think more important than that, the use of AI for making sure the customer knows that I know him is more important, right? Because if I can greet this customer, if I can do a welcome to Regal Shoes and a smile online, the same way that I do it offline, then that customer knows that here I believe, right? I believe this is that relationship that I've been chasing, and that helps to translate that loyalty from offline to online. That's what we're chasing. But one problem that we have is that a lot of the customers are now on marketplaces like your Myntra and your Nykaa, and we don't know who that customer is. And actually, I'm curious to ask if you guys have any solutions for trying to retain that customer or bring them back into the family, or maybe through the loyalty program. I don't know. I'm just spitballing here, but.
So, I mean, it all depends on what's your understanding with the marketplace, right? So if you have an understanding to share customer data, you can enable it, right? But,
do you have this understanding? Maybe I should talk to the
with some
marketplaces.
maybe, right? So that's a understanding that you need to build. It's not that you don't have the data, because if you're doing shipment, you do get some basic data about the customer. The question is, can you use that? So that is more a question of what's your understanding with the marketplace.
Thank you. I am going to try to have more understanding with my marketplaces after this. I appreciate that.
Indresh, with rising CACs, right? How are we leveraging smart discounting strategies, if at all, across brands? And I'm going to ask the same thing to you, Praveen, because it's two spectrums of brands, right? How are we leveraging smart discounting strategies to balance conversion with profitability across channels?
Okay, so we are still exploring how to do it, but we have realized there are various category of customers looking at our data, right? Some customers only come during discounts, end of season sale, Black Friday, that's it, right? There are some customers who don't care about end of season sale. They come whenever they feel like. Okay, it can be pre-Diwali or wedding season, and they are ready to shell out 100%. Okay, pay full price for the product. What happens in traditionally, and we are still trying to figure out how, we know the problem, we know the data. Okay, we are trying to segregate so that we can run campaigns accordingly, right? So why should I send a discount emailer or a notification to somebody who is anyways going to spend full price in my store, right? It defeats the purpose, because now I am moving that full price customer to the discount bucket, and hence taking a hit on my GP, right? Traditionally, the email campaigns work like this. You pick up 2,000 customers, and on Wednesday morning or Friday morning, send out a burst, right? What you're doing is asking the full price customer to come on a Friday and take a discount, right? Or she is ready to pay full price. Why are you doing it? So we know the problem. We know how the data looks. Okay, we are building. So we have an in-house team to do this. So we are using our in-house team of data scientists and data engineers to figure out how do you differentiate between this, and hence run the campaigns accordingly, rather than bulk loading everything and just 15 paisa one SMS send it to 1 lakh customers. It doesn't work. It is just waste of money, both on the campaign and the GP hit that you take because a wrong customer comes to your store at the wrong day. Yeah.
Interesting. Same question to you, Praveen.
So I would obviously, I think you already very well explained how you do customer level discounting, and So that's very similar to what we look at. But discounting, I think, operates at two levels. One is at the product level and then at a personalized to a customer. So product level, as in how do you really decide product level pricing? So we built markdown algorithms which will really look at on a dynamic basis what's the rate of sale at a current, at whatever is the current price in stores plus online, and then what is moving continue at the price. If something needs to be discounted, then discount that and get that signal transmitted across. We by and large follow an approach where we don't have different pricing between channels, and I think as a brand, most of our brands are very clear that they don't want to do the same product to be showing up at different prices, let's say in our online channel and store and marketplaces. So we try to keep that uniform. So the product discount is always kept uniform, but fine-tuned based on the rate of sale and performance of that product in the market at any point in time. The promos, which is more customer specific or region specific or even a store specific, channel specific, those are done with some kind of algorithm which personalizes that to the customer or again to the, let's say, customers who are showing interest in a product. So it may be a segment of customers.
Sorry, may I ask him a follow-up? You said you do promos store-wise or region-wise. Do you do different offers across regions?
There are different, because see, that's the marketing team's decision as to how they want to drive it, right? So if they're opening a new store and they want to run a specific offer for the store, then they would be able to run it on the platform, right?
But then how do you align that with your online, right? So how do you
which
either
is why the
keep it
product
separate?
price doesn't differ, but the promo offer then goes as a separate promo offer. It could be a free loyalty points, it could be a coupon. So you do it as a promo offer, not a separate pricing. So.
I think for the all of us favorite tool in AI, or the most popular one, is in content creation, right? There is flat lays to models to videos that AI is taking over, and a lot of us toy with it day in and day out. The question is to any of you, actually the three of you, how do you think, or what are you doing? Are there any tools that you recommend, whether it's AI in influencer marketing or content creation, video generation? Any quick tips to upcoming brands? Anything there?
So we are experimenting with AI created content. It's funny. You see all of these AI videos where people are just perfectly recreated and having these, giving these long conversations. But when it comes to feet, AI doesn't know what to do. So you've got all these feet like turning in all these random ways. So there is experimentation going on, but making videos with shoes is a little harder. So we have been doing photographs with AI creatives and flat lays and all of that. We're hoping that the video situation will also be soon resolved. So our videos don't have like people walking backwards or feet pointing in random directions. I don't know. I'm curious to see if you guys have tried this, because your visual content is on point. So I'm happy to follow that example.
So there are two buckets, right, for us as an organization. One bucket is hardcore data, okay, where I have my own data scientists and data engineers working on the core data. Okay. The second bucket is more curiosity-driven right now. So we do work with startups. There's one startup right across my office with whom we work on the beauty part. So kind of building a chat GPT for Victoria's Secrets India. That's a small startup, 25 people. We know what we want. We are driving the startup to build it for us. Right? Then there is off the shelf, which is, there are a couple of startups like Camera.ai or Canva is there, where specific teams, explore. They have been given certain liberty. We are still going through the curiosity case. I don't think we have completely adopted a particular model, because there's no particular model that can be adopted across our organization. You have to pick and choose your battles, so to say. So marketing team right now has probably 2 or 3 platforms they are working on. Our e-com team has a couple of platforms they are working on. And there are a couple of startups that we are deeply engaged, because we know we can get the best output from them. at the most efficient pricing and timeline. Yeah. So it's a mixed bag. For data, of course, as I said, we own the data. We don't like to share our data. That's our IP, and hence all the data analytics is based out of our data engineers and data scientists.
Got it. So I think the key sort of underlying insight is the customer today is connected, moving across screens, channels, formats. Identity is dynamic, ever evolving, and which is why the need of the hour for the brands is to transform these scattered signals into a more intelligent journey, right? I think that's what AI is sort of helping us build as well. So we've got 5 minutes left, opening it up to the audience. Any questions? Anything for our panelists?
Hello, hi. Thank you for such a beautiful insight, what you have given from your experience. The only question I have is that too much of communication is getting targeted toward the actual buyer. It's so crowded, every day during, especially on Friday, you are bombarded with messages, Ultimately on Saturday, Sunday, you have to really find some time to delete those messages because these are unwanted ones. So how you are, because ultimately your audience, your targeted audience, you want to see their convenience also, so that you are reaching to them and ultimately they should not block you as well. So how you are using AI, or you are going to use AI to reach to the right audience and ultimately attract them to come. See, it's a greeting what you have said when the customer is coming to your store, or you're greeting with them their name. It's really a great experience. But how you are going to declutter this and the audience get the correct messages during the festival? As you mentioned, that the India is like EU only, in different segment, you are targeting South India different way, Eastern India different way, Western India and Northern India. Yes, it is like we are amalgamation of too many culture. So how this you are going to address this issue where customers should, not be bombarded by using the AI? Any of you happy to?
No, I think you're talking about more of an ecosystem problem than it's not a brand thing, because
Yes.
it's not
Yeah,
about
yeah.
any one brand doing or
Yes.
not
Yeah,
doing.
yeah.
What we and the challenge is, and you're right. I mean, it's become so easy to today communicate to a customer, and there are so many channels, right? You can do SMS, WhatsApp, email. You can, if you have an app, web, then you can do alerts. So it's a point of how do you use your different channels and what do you communicate. It's always a mix. Let's say end of season sale, everybody sends to everybody. And sometimes the customers don't mind it because they do want to know when that's happening. So I don't think I have an answer for what your question, because, but yeah, I think our brands are responsible enough by and large to make sure they don't over communicate or communicate with customers who are interested and use the right channel. So if somebody is on an app, they will not really use it, also send WhatsApp, let's say. So or if it's somebody's phone number, you will send, maybe when they shop, send them a communication after they've 1 month or something saying, how did you feel about the product? But not overload them with communication all the time.
Also, just to add to Praveen, the more important thing is also to be able to look at customers as different cohorts, identifying patterns in the way they respond to a brand, right? And buying behavior. So then you know that this is a returning customer within 90 days, within 180 days. This customer is not going to shop with us for more than twice a year. So you sort of tailor make your communication frequency as well based on that.
Just a few more comments on that. I mean, you really hit the nail on the head, because hyper-personalization, and that's a challenge we haven't addressed yet, can get pretty creepy stalkery, right? Like, there are times when you get messages and emails that say, "Hi, Anisa," like you're best friends. No, we're not friends, right? So I think, like, that's a solution. You follow their behavior. You really have to tailor your messages. You always have to give a way out. Right? Legally now, you always have to give a way out, right? Unsubscribed, opt out. Do you want to see this? If you don't open it, we're going to back off. Make sure that, like, I mean, AI is moving ahead really quickly, but maybe we're not putting enough checks in place on the way. So, I mean, this is a shout out to anyone who works in AI as well, right? Like, let's protect the customer from feeling stalked, from being bombarded. This is just a shout out to anyone who is working on this, is that this is something that we as brands also very much care about, and we as shoppers and consumers as well, right? So yeah, that's my 2 cents.
All right. Thank you so much. Thank you, Praveen, Indresh, and Anisa for being on such a lovely panel. Thank you.